we took a little trip down to Santa Ana Park, which is about 4 blocks from our casa on 49th Street, and we passed the house of a notary public who has a slightly higher position in Mexico than in fact you have in the United States. So we thought we'd take some pictures of his house, which was really quite nice. It's you see this in Mexico. You got these simple kind of railroad flats, and all of a sudden you have these mansions, of the well-to-do or the professional people. Anyway, this is Santa Ana Park, which is a nice park, and the new mayor, who's a woman, has seen to it that we have a very green park. So all the parks are much greener than they were 2 years ago when I was here, which is great. And the grass is green, the trees, the flowers are trimmed, everything is much nicer. So I've noticed that in several places in Mexico. When a woman takes over, we have nice parks. She also has internet in all the parks, wireless. So both for the gringos and for the kids, it's a great free outlet. You don't have to go to the internet shops and pay anymore. Just go to the parks, sit around in the shade, and work with your internet with your laptop, your PC. So anyway, this is a little bit of what Santa Ana Park happens to look like. It's green. The kids are here. Older people are here. They sit in the shade. There's a cafe to the right. A series of cafes. One of them is the Rani Cafe, which we like very much, and which we have some friends there. Claudia Azul is there, and she runs the night shift. It's a family-owned situation. Well, most of these are family-owned. They're all little mom-and-pop shops. And here's Jones is coming back from shopping at one of the little markets that she likes here, and I don't know what she got, but she got something. She looks happy, and I think they were mostly kind of chemicals to clean whatever they were. She's laughing about it. But we went down to one of the bakeries that is around the park. The parks are like commercial centers too, and around it are some establishments which are very nice. In this case, there's a very nice bakery that runs from the kind of very fancy to the kind of low sugar, low fat pastries that we've come to like. We grew up on the high butter, high sugar pastries, such as we get at the French pastry C'est La Vie in Sarasota. And of course, you get them all through New York. They're killers, and they're delicious. But after a while, you get used to these Mexican kind of low-cal, because they don't have much sugar, they don't have much butter in them, and they tend to be a little dry. But after a while, you like it with your coffee. Although they do know how to make the sugar bombs when the time comes. But for the general run-of-the-mill, as I'm going around here, you just go through and you pick your things off a tray. You have another tray with a pair of tongs, and you pick what you like. These things go for about $50. They're cheap. So they're just nice to have, and you put whatever you want in your tray and you bring it over. And I'll give you a little taste here of that's the cheesecake that they have, and there are some specialty cheesecakes places here in Merida. There's one about 2 blocks from us. That's the king of the cheesecakes, or the queen of the cheesecakes. So if you want a real New York cheesecake, go there. And here's some of the fancy stuff for the kids, and then it gets on to the cakes for the specialty situations. And there's a place here in town that makes tres leches cakes, which I love. I'm going to get one for Christmas. We're going over to a house of some Mexican friends for their midnight Christmas dinner, and I'm going to bring a tres leche cake, which for those of you who know Cuban cuisine know that it's the milkiest, sweetest cake you could ever imagine. I don't think they have one here that it's not a real Mexican favorite, but it is for people who have traveled a bit. These are the little birthday cakes and stuff. So you have some kind of idea as to what neighborhood bakery would look like. and it's not expensive and it's not fancy. It's a little hotel at the REMATA of the PASEO Montejo, which is the Champs-Élysées of Merida. This is the end of it. You'll see there's very few cars compared to the bulk of Merida, which is a very noisy city, and you'll hear some of that noise in the background here, right outside my house, because these are zero lot line homes, and the streets are right there, and bingo, you know, you get street noise day and night. That's just the way that it is. But this is one of the few streets that doesn't have any noise, and it has a little boutique hotel that we're sitting at here. It's very nice. It's about 3 stories high, and there's some beautiful courtyards inside with art. And this is the area also where they have Mexico night. So it's the end of the Paseo Montejo, basically, towards El Centro, you know. There's a Christmas tree is up, and the poinsettias and Santa and all the rest of that stuff, and the nativity scene. And I don't know what happened here. I think that we went a little wild. This is not an impressionistic attempt. This is just simply that we forgot the camera was on. So you can see how highly polished the tables are outside the hotel there. I forget its name right now. It's a cute little thing with lots of art inside, a very good coffee shop, and very nice waiters. And so you can come here for Christmas, or you can come here for the Mexico nights, which I believe are Saturdays, if I remember. Here's our waiter. It was very funny. They make good coffee here, so if you're an American who wants a good cup of coffee, this is the place to come. And they understand the cream with the coffee and not that powdered nonsense, you know, that seemed to have taken root here. Milk was never a big coffee shop, and very nice waiters. And so you can come here for Christmas, or you can come here for the Mexico nights, which I believe are Saturdays, if I remember. Here's our waiter.